नवला किशोर जय गोपी चित चोर प्रभु जय जय माखन चोर जय जय माखन चोर। श्री कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की, श्री यमुना महारानी की, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की। उपस्थित भगवत कथा अनुरागी
Hare Krishna, and our humble obeisances at the lotus feet of all the devotees who have gathered here to listen to the Bhagvatam Katha. I especially heartfully welcome the senior Vaishnavas, the devotees of the International Society of Krishna Consciousness, Iskcon, and the devotees who have gathered here in huge numbers to listen to this Bhagavatam Katha through the medium of Zoom, YouTube, Facebook, etc. And in particular, I would like to welcome the organizers who have organized this beautiful Katha in the sweet memory and reverie of their ancestors. So I welcome the whole Patel family, in which the Amrish Bhai, Minamat, Piyush Bhai, Jayashri Mataji, Pratik Bhai, Darshana Mataji, Kulwin Prabhuji, Mohini Mataji, and their favorite brother and his wife. So I heartily welcome you all, especially Mukesh Bhai, on the third day of this 321st Katha, and our humble obeisances at your lotus feet. Radhe Shyam.
एक बार गोदावरी के तट पर
Once upon a time, on the banks of the river Godavari, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who himself is an incarnation of Lord Sri Krishna, and at the banks of Godavari river, he had a discussion with Rai Ramanan, and who was Vishakha Sakhi in the Dwapar Leela. And as yesterday you have heard that Yamuna Maharani is the incarnation of Vishakha Sakhi herself. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells or asks Ramanand Rai that what is the biggest trouble in this material world. So
प्रभु कहे दुख मध्य कौन दुख बड़ा प्रभु कहे दुख मध्य कौन दुख बड़ा कृष्ण भक्त वीर दुख हयतर। जवाब क्या देते हैं? कृष्ण भक्त वीर भय दुख तारा। कृष्ण भक्त का विरह हो जाना,
So Rai Ramanan ji answers that to have be separated from the elevated devotees of the Lord is the biggest distress and sadness for us, because until and unless we are in association with the devotees, we can progress in Krishna consciousness. So if we see the history that Ravan and his Lanka were safe till the point Vibhishan, the elevated devotee of the Lord, was present in Lanka. And as soon as he left, Lanka was destroyed. Similarly, Duryodhan's Hastinapur was safe till the elevated devotee Vidur was there. And the day Mahatma Vidur left for Hastinapur, the date of its destruction was set. So sometimes so happens that we are not able to understand what's happening at the present time. But Rai Ramananji says that the biggest problem is or distress is separation from a devotee.
जो हमारे आदर्श रहे और समाज के प्रतिष्ठित व्यक्ति होकर उन्होंने अपना जीवन बिताया।
Today,
जैसे हमारे प्रिय श्री रति राम जी गर्ग,
Sri Rati Ramji Garg, who was a resident of Delhi, who
जिन्होंने
has
समग्र जीवन
contributed his whole life
और सत्य
towards
सिद्धांतों पर जीते हैं।
spiritualism and the true philosophy.
इनके पिताजी का नाम था साधु राम जी गर्ग।
His father's name was Sadhu Ramji Garg,
अक्टूबर
and
1929 को
he was born
हरियाणा में
in
हुआ।
1929 in Haryana.
और जन्म देखो फोटो में भी आप देख सकते हैं।
And in
इतने
the fourth
सिद्धांतवादी
picture,
हुआ
you can
करते
see
थे
that he
कि हम
was
भारतीय
such a
हैं, हम
philosopher,
भारत में रहते हैं
that
तो
we are
हम
Indian.
भारतीय वस्त्र ही पहनेंगे।
We should wear the
बचपन से
clothes
ही
manufactured in
वे खादी
India.
पहनते थे।
So since
उनको
childhood, he
गर्व
used to wear
था,
khadi,
गर्व था भारत के ऊपर।
and he was so
यहाँ
proud
तक देश
of
के मिशन
our
में भी उन्होंने बहुत
heritage,
योगदान प्रदान किया।
and he has
और आगे
contributed
चलकर उनका विवाह कुरुक्षेत्र निवासी
so much.
लाला राम
And
जी
he
एडवोकेट
was
की सुपुत्री
later
पद्मावती जी
married
के साथ
to
हुआ।
Padmavati,
और
who's the
विवाह
daughter
के
of an
अवसर में भी
advocate.
उनके
And at
मित्र
the
समाज ने
time
कहा कि
of their
आज तो अच्छे
marriage,
वस्त्र पहन लो,
he
लेकिन
was
विवाह
asked to
में
wear
खादी
good
पहन
clothes,
कर ही
but
कीजिए।
yet he wore khadi and he got
और
married.
फिर उनके 4 सुपुत्र हुए
And he had
और
4 sons.
उनके जीवन में ऐसा कोई दिन नहीं था
And
जिसमें
in
उन्होंने
his life, he had not a
योगा
single
नहीं किया
day
हो,
when he
प्राणायाम नहीं
has
किया
not
हो
used,
और
is
उन्होंने
not
बहुत
done
सारे
yoga or pranayam
प्रतिदिन ध्यान करते, योगा करते,
or meditation.
सूर्य देवता को अर्घ्य प्रदान करते, तुलसी देवी की परिक्रमा और जल प्रदान
He
करते,
used to offer water to
जाप करते एवं
sun
गायत्री मंत्र का
and
जाप करते
Tulsi Vrinda
और
Devi,
प्रति
and
रविवार को
used
हवन
to do
करते।
Gayatri Mantra, and he used to
और
do every
भारत के
Sunday
प्रतिष्ठित
a yajna
अब
sacrifice.
यदि उनके
And he
सभी
was
घराने
renowned.
सुन रहे होंगे तो
If
कहेंगे ये क्या बोल रहे हैं।
their sons
लेकिन
might be
भारत के
listening,
धनियों में से
might
एक
be
थे
thinking
हमारे
what he's saying,
श्री
but he was one
रतिराम
of
जी
the
गर्ग।
most affluent,
उनके जीवन का सिद्धांत था
and
वो
his
सदैव
life was based on
वर्तमान
a
में रहना
philosophy
पसंद करते थे
that he always used to live in the
और अक्सर
present,
अपने बच्चों को, अपने मित्रों को कहते थे भविष्य
and
की
he
चिंता
always
नहीं
used to
करनी चाहिए,
tell
वर्तमान
his
में रहना
family
चाहिए।
members and
भविष्य में क्या
friends
होता है
that
हम
we should
भविष्य
not
को
worry
भविष्य को
about
याद
tomorrow.
करके शोक करते हैं और
We
भविष्य को याद करके
usually
भय
get distressed because of the past, and we're always fearful for our future, that we distress so much and become so much anxious that we are not able to enjoy the present. So, so Ratiramji had a beautiful philosophy that we should live in the present. And he used to thank the Lord every day. He was so grateful to the Lord for everything he had been given by the Lord. And he told others also to be grateful to the Lord. And I have a familial relationship with the family and his four sons, especially Ashokji. So, in this age of Kali, quarrel, and hypocrisy, the four sons stay together, live together, and the whole family lives together and they eat together at the dinner table. And in this age of hypocrisy and quarrel, we have family like these would depict the Satyuga and Treta Yuga. He believed in cleanliness not only of the body but also of the home, etc. Because until unless we are clean, we cannot purify our heart. And he always used to say that we should not ill treat anyone and we should not ponder over negative thoughts. And the biggest thing which I found very attractive was that he was never fearful of the death. He said that death is like a gift and it comes someday or one day. And he always had a wish that I should not be in a condition that I will be dependent on others for sustenance. Although he had a great family support, but yet, and although he was above 90 years, but yet he was fully independent for his own sustenance. And in this way, the Uttarayan day, Shukla Paksh, at the 425 temple time for the Mangla Arti, he on the 16th of January he left this material world and reached the eternal abode of the Lord. So I would say Vaikunt Nivasi or Golok Dham Nivasi. Ratiramji Garg has left this material world. So there is some melancholy for the loss, but we are sure that he has reached the eternal abode of the Lord and we have that satisfaction. So let's all pray to the Lord that all his four sons get the strength to follow the principles set by their father. Always Ashokji says that we need to take care of you because if you are there, then millions of people will get the Bhagvatam Katha by you. So I thank him specially and his family. So almost 35,000 people are listening the katha. So if we all chant 3 times, we'll be chanting 1 lakh cha- chant for his divine soul. So let's pray and chant.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. श्री वैकुंठवासी रतिराम गर्ग जी की, जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की। श्रीमद् भागवत महारानी श्री यमुना महारानी। सो यमुना महारानी की महिमा, कुछ सात्विक तात्विक चर्चा हम सब लोग
So we are here, gathered here to listen to the glories of Srimati Yamuna Maharani and making our lives better. So, where there is a holy place or a city like Dwarika, Mathura, so in Shastras, the holy cities are called Kshetras. And where there is a holy river, it is called as a Tirth. So there is a difference between Kshetra and
सौभाग्य की बात यह है कि यमुना जो है वो न तो
so
तीर्थ है न
it's
क्षेत्र,
great
यमुना
fortune
और क्षेत्र
that
दोनों है।
it is not just Kshetra or Tirth, but it is both because it is a holy river. That is why it and it is situated in the holy dham Vrindavan. So it is a Kshetra. So the Kshetra and Tirth. That is why it is called Tirth Kshetra. As I mentioned earlier, that there is a little comparison. So when we go to Haridwar, the glory is not of Haridwar, but it's the glory of the holy river Ganges. And that is why it's called Tirth. And because of the presence of the river Gangaji, the area is purified. But in case of Yamuna Ji, the river is also there along with the holy city that is Vrindavan. That is why it is Tirth Kshetra. And that is the reason that Yamuna Ji is the most glorious of all. And Shripad Vallabhacharya has beautifully said about her.
यमुना महम सकल सिद्धि हेतुम मुदा मुरारी पद पंकज स्फुरद मंदरेणुत्कटां तटस्थ नवकानन प्रकट मोद पुष्पाम्बुना सुरासुर सुपूजित स्मरपितु श्रियं बिभ्रतिम्। बहुत सुंदर है। श्री यमुना महारानी के विषय में कहते हैं नमामि, सर्वप्रथम मैं यमुना
Vallabhacharya ji says that first of all I want to bow down to the Yamuna river or Yamuna ji. He says that aham, that is me.
अब देखिए इस दुनिया में सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम तो यही है।
So in this world, the biggest problem is of aham or pride.
सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है।
So this is the biggest problem,
में कोई आदमी कितनी भी ऊंचाई पर पहुंच जाए,
and
भक्ति और साधना
no matter how much successful we are or how much elevated
रही जाती है,
devotee we become, but still the only thing that remains
जाप किया, 32
is
माला जाप किया, मैंने
aham or
तुम लोगों ने नहीं
our
किया।
pride.
मैं भागवत कथा बोलता
The
हूँ, मैं
problem
अच्छा
of
गाता हूँ, मैं अच्छा अहम अहम।
lording over it is the biggest problem, that
एक
I'm a
गुरु ने
great
कहा कि
singer
देखो आप
or I
सबको अभिमान हो
sing
सकता है,
beautifully
लेकिन मुझे
Bhagvat
कभी
Katha.
अभिमान नहीं है। बात
So
सत्य थी, उस आदमी को अभिमान नहीं था।
when in
वो कहता है कि आप
someday one person said that
लेकिन मुझे
"Aap-
तनिक भी अभिमान नहीं
I
है। ये
don't
जो
have
बोल रहा है कि
a
मुझ में
little
अभिमान नहीं है,
bit of
वो
pride
तो
also."
अभिमान है।
But
बोला
someone
हाँ,
said
तभी
that
तो हम तो
that
आई
you are saying that you don't have any pride is itself
तू
a
तू
sign
अभिमान
of your pride.
भक्ति मार्ग में बहुत बड़ा स्पीड ब्रेकर है, बहुत बड़ी रुकावट है।
And
और श्रीमद्
this
वल्लभाचार्य
pride
जी
is the
ओपनली कह
biggest
दिए अहम
obstacle in the process of and
क्योंकि
progress
अभी
of our pure devotional
हम जब
service
इंग्लिश में
towards the
चीजें
Lord.
लिखते हैं तो वो आई जो है ना वो बहुत कम इस्तेमाल करते हैं। हम लोग कहते हैं
So,
हम, मैं करने
so
वाला वो शब्द में भी अच्छा नहीं लगता।
whenever we even write a letter, we
लेकिन
prefer
अगर
to
सीधा ही मार्ग
write
बताते
we
चले
instead
जाएं
of
तो
I
प्रभु जी ने अहम
because it doesn't look good.
देखिए इसे कहते हैं
In
आस्वादन। अब कहने के लिए तो सीधा सीधा अर्थ किया जा सकता है,
so this
लेकिन
is
उस
what
शब्द
is
का आस्वादन तो
what
यही है ना।
enjoying the mellows of the single word.
ये अहम जो है ना, अहम माने आई, बिल्कुल
So this
स्टिक
aham
की तरह
stands
खड़ा
for
है।
I,
इस दुनिया
stands
में
like
प्रत्येक
a
व्यक्ति
stick,
को प्रॉब्लम देता है वो है
and
अहम।
this is
देखिए
the
यहाँ कुछ शब्द हैं
biggest
आप देख सकते हैं,
problem
नमामि
we
यमुना,
face.
मैं अहम।
Talks about me, I, aham.
मान लो कोई गलती से कोई कोई कुछ हमें कोई कह दिया कि तुम ऐसे हो, कितना
So
दुख
if
लगता
someone
है। अहम
says that you're like that,
मुझे कह
how
दिया,
much
मुझे
hurt
ऐसा।
we feel that, oh,
हनुमान जी जैसे
I
हनुमान
was
जी ने
told this.
बड़े बड़े कार्य जो राम जी नहीं कर पाए वो हनुमान जी ने कर
Hanumanji was
दिए।
able to do
लेकिन लक्ष्मण जी
so
जब
many
संजीवनी लेकर जा रहे
things
थे तो कुछ
that
देर तक हनुमान जी
even
को
Lord
लगा
Ramji couldn't
कि मैं
do.
यदि नहीं पहुंचा तो लक्ष्मण जीवित नहीं हो पाएंगे।
But at the time when
ये
Lakshmanji was hurt and he had
तुरंत पवन की तरह
Hanumanji has
हनुमान
to
की गति
take
रुकी, धरती
the
पर गिरे।
Sanjeevani
ये
Booty,
अहम
he
जो है ना
felt the
बड़े बड़े
pride that
अकाल से
if I
बचाता
don't
है।
reach on time, Lakshmanji will be no more. And he fell down at the point
इस
because of
बात का
his
किसी ने
pride.
पूछा था मुझे बहुत समय पहले कि भाई
Quite a
भक्ति
few
मार्ग में
days back,
प्रवेश
somebody asked me that
करने के लिए क्वालिफिकेशन क्या है,
what is the qualification to start the pure devotional service towards the
प्रवेश
Lord?
करने के लिए
That is
क्वालिफिकेशन
bhakti.
क्या है। यदि आज मुझे कोई पूछे तो मैं कहूंगा भक्ति मार्ग में प्रवेश करने के लिए पहली क्वालिफिकेशन
So
अपने
if
अहम को नष्ट कर
I would say that to progress or to start bhakti or pure devotional service towards the Lord, you should first fi- finish this pride in us. And that is the reason when we get initiated, the bona fide spiritual master gives us the name of a das to make it clear to us that we are the servitors of the Lord and we have no capability of our own. So he says that although he's a highly elevated devotee, but still he is agreeing that I have pride, but now I'm adding my I with you so that to purify that pride. Even if you're not able to get rid of the pride, then keep the pride that I am the humble servant of the Lord Ram or Krishna or Yamuna Maharani. So that is also a kind of bhakti or pure devotional service towards the Lord. So Vallabhacharya is adding his pride with Yamuna Maharani that I bow down at your lotus feet. And what is the glory of Yamuna Maharani? He says further,
हम सकल सिद्धि हे तुम मुदा गाइए नमामि यमुनामहं सकल सिद्धि हे तुम मुदा। यमुना महारानी क्या है, क्या महिमा है? बोले सकल सिद्धि हेतु मुदा। यमुना महारानी हमें सकल सिद्धि प्रदान करने वाली
so
है।
she is capable of giving us the highest benediction, and she is the source of benediction.
या यमुना महारानी का आश्रय लेने से सकल सिद्धि प्राप्त हो जाएगी। तो ये सिद्धि क्या है?
So if the question arises that what is a siddhi, so the special accomplishments are considered as the Ashtasiddhis. But Mahaprabhu Vallabhacharya mentions here, he's not talking about these accomplishments. He's seeking for the Vaishnav accomplishments. For him, or for a devotee, accomplishment is not to fly or to walk on water, but so we're trying to explain the Sakal Siddhi Hetu here. So that means 8 accomplishments or siddhis. So the Vaishnav siddhis are to we listen to the pastimes of the Lord, but we don't experience the siddhi. We don't experience the pastime of the Lord and we don't get the realization. But if we pray to Yamuna Maharani, then we will get the realization accomplished. So that is the first siddhi for a Vaishnava. Then second, although there can be a huge explanation for experiencing the pastimes of the Lord,
योषित्वा माययात्मानम प्राविशत कामचारिणी परीक्षित वो कामचारिणी राक्षसी पूतना
Shukdev ji mentions about Putna, Parikshit Maharaj, that Putna came to kill Krishna, and while listening this, Parikshit Maharaj was bewildered and his heart started pumping fast, and he was worried that Krishna should not be killed by Putna. So this pastime has already happened 5,000 years back, but Parikshit Maharaj was experiencing the katha, the pastime of the Lord. So just listening is something, but to experience that is far greater accomplishment. So that is a siddhi for a Vaishnava. So there was one South Indian king, Kul Shekhar Alwar, when he used to listen the Ram Katha, and when he heard that Sita ji is kidnapped by Ravana, he collected all his army and we will go and fight. But all this pastime had already happened 10 lakh years before, but he was experiencing. So you elevated devotees or sages meditate and do so much austerity to get this siddhi. So when we get association or mercy of a highly elevated devotee, we should ask them to bless us.
गद गद गिरा नयना बहनीरा.
So we should ask for their mercy that we are able to experience the Bhagavatam, the pastimes of the Lord. And when we experience the Bhagavatam Katha, then we will be overwhelmed with emotions and mellows. So, what you have to do to achieve this stage is to pray and ask Yamuna Maharani for her immense mercy. So, is this can be elaborated in detail when we are going to listen to Yamuna Ashtakam in detail. We will discuss in further detail. So, this is the first, and the second siddhi is Bhagvat Ras Anubhav. So usually, when we read or we listen to Bhagavatam, we just read. So we can feel a little bit of the relationship with the Lord in Vatsalya, or Dasya, etc. But if we fully want to enjoy the mellows, then we should pray at the lotus feet of Yamuna Maharani. So this Bhagavad Ras was enjoyed by Parikshit. So Shukdev ji told Parikshit that it's been 3 days and 3 nights that you have been hearing the katha, and now you want to listen to Krishna Katha. It's been 4 days you haven't eaten or drunk anything. So take some food and rest, and then we will listen. But Parikshit Maharaj said, no, I have no thirst or hunger, but I just want to listen to the Bhagavatam. And Shukdev ji said that what is the reason? And Parikshit Maharaj replies that the Krishna Katha that I'm listening is like a fountain of water, a spring that is flowing, and it is a higher taste than the material thirst and hunger. So this is the proof of his enjoying the mellow of the pastime, and we will be able to enjoy that when we have the mercy of Yamuna ji. And the third accomplishment or siddhi is
हाँ, जो पतले हैं उसके लिए वो मोटा वाली सिद्धि, और मोटे वाले के लिए अणिमा थोड़ी काम में आ जाएगी, है? लेकिन हम वैष्णवों के लिए, भक्तों के लिए यहाँ पर सिद्धि का वर्णन, तीसरी सिद्धि है.
So the third siddhi is to have the feeling of equanimity towards everyone. Oh, not sat, but somehow. Sadbhav, not sambhav. Because in that is to be a friend of everyone or a well-wisher of everyone. That is sadbhav. So, whether instead of criticizing others, we should at least think that although they are intoxicating or something other, but still at least they're listening to the katha. So if we are able to find positive in an extremely difficult person, so that is an accomplishment or siddhi. But we are other way around. We can find problem with the even the highest of the Vaishnava. So to see good in everyone is a great accomplishment, and it is a siddhi. So, and the fourth is
श्री कृष्ण युक्त भक्त हृदय, माने जिसमें भगवान का आवेश हो ऐसा हृदय, ये चौथी सिद्धि.
The fourth accomplishment is to have a heart where Krishna resides. And he is doing his pastimes in our heart. So this is the fourth accomplishment. The fifth is to able to see the Lord sitting in our heart. If we are able to see him through our eyes, as mentioned in Brahma Samhita, which highly elevated devotees are able to do day and night. So this is the first accomplishment or siddhi. The sixth is to get engrossed in Krishna like the gopis of Raja. So, in separation of with Krishna, they became Krishnamay, or that they were in such a situation or mood that they became considering themselves as Krishna and started doing the pastimes of the Lord, which is mentioned in the 10th canto, 30 and 31st chapter of Bhagavatam. So the seventh is in the situation of separation with the Lord, to see Him everywhere. So when Vallabhacharya ji wrote this verse, we're trying to understand. As Sri Radharani mentions that when Krishna is with me, I can see Krishna in Krishna himself. But when Krishna leaves or I'm separated from him, I see him everywhere in everyone. So this is the seventh accomplishment or siddhi. And the last one is
भगवान को मजबूर न करना, मतलब हमारे काम
so it is not to
नौकर बना देना, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए.
we should not make the Lord our servant to do our work, but to come to the terms that whatever is Krishna's desire is our desire. So that is the greatest accomplishment of all. And these 8 are the Vaishnava Siddhis. It is really, really tough to accomplish them, but only by the mercy, or when Yamuna Maharani gets satisfied, we will be able to get them.
सकल सिद्धि हेतु मुदा, गाइए. नमामि यमुनामहं सकल सिद्धि हेतु मुदा, मुरारी पद पंकज स्फुरद मंदरेणुत्कटां, मुरारी पद पंकज स्फुरद मंदरेणुत्कटां. ये श्लोक इसी राग में गाया जाएगा क्योंकि ये पृथ्वी छंद में है. हम भागवत के जो प्राय भागवत के जो श्लोक हैं,
so this verse can be sung in this prithvi. So there cannot be any other tune because this is a prithvi chant. So you can note down this tune and sing this ashtakam. So the first line we have done explaining. So in the second line, he mentions that by the mercy of Yamuna Maharani, we can get all these 8 accomplishments, and she will give it very easily. So usually what happens is that when we have to ask for a donation for some work, but he gives charity, but he does it not with happiness but as a burden. But here the last word of the first line is muda. Muda means with happiness, and with happiness she will bestow all these siddhis to her devotees. She's not like us that we get unhappy while doing some charity. So now, the second line. What is the place where Yamunaji resides? So, Murari is Lord Shri Krishna, and she stays as the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. So she has taken the shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, although Krishna has given her place in her heart, but yet she resides in his lotus feet. And because of killing the demon Mura, who had 5 heads, was killed by Krishna, and that is why he is called Murari. And this Mura used to reside in Yamuna Ji, and Krishna killed him and purified Yamuna Ji. So there can be a question that Yamuna Ji is so much glorious and Krishna loves her so much, then what is the reason? Vallabhacharya is explaining here that Krishna loves Yamuna Ji immensely. When Krishna was born and Vasudev Ji was taking Krishna to Vrindavan or Gokul, and Yamuna Ji was overflowing. If she had willed, she would have made it impossible for Vasudev Ji to reach there. When she thought that Krishna has to give so much benefit to all the devotees of Vrindavan or Gokul, so Yamuna Ji divided herself in 2 parts, and there it became like a highway, and Vasudev Ji could easily walk. And after seeing this, Lord Krishna, so before he met the gopis, Krishna met Yamuna Ji, but she gave the path or passage so that Krishna could give association to his devotees. And in this way, by giving such a great fortune to his devotees, Krishna became so happy with her that he made her his wife. So when we try to associate a devotee to the Lord, then we will also become the favorite of the Lord. So that is the glory of the lotus or the dust of the Yamuna Maharani. So the Yamuna river that flows, so as we discussed yesterday, that Yamuna Ji is comprises of Yamuna Jal, the banks and the sand. So the value of the sand of Yamuna Ji is far more precious because it has the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord and his devotees, the gopis and the cows, etc. So the glory of Gangaji is to liberate the people. But when Gangaji met Yamunaji, then she became, it becomes Prem Pradayini, or the giver of the love of the Lord. And further he adds,
तटस्थ वन कानन प्रकट मोद पुष्पाम्बुना सुरासुरस पूजित स्मरपितु श्रियं बिभ्रतिं सुरासुरसुपूजित स्मरपितु श्रियं बिभ्रतिम्। और यमुना जी के विषय में उनकी शोभा का वर्णन करते हुए कहते हैं कि तटस्थ यमुना के तट के ऊपर स्थित है क्या
glorifying Yamuna ji, and he says that there is a beautiful forest that is Vrindavan, that is the same place where Lord Krishna does his Ras Leela eternally. And moreover, that Yamuna ji is prayed equally by the demigods and the demons alike. So this is a straightforward interpretation, but the second meaning is the people who are born in the demigod family or demon families but are devotees of the Lord, both as Prahlad or Devkul, Dhruv, etc. So these highly elevated devotees of the Lord equally pray to Yamunaji. But what is the reason Vallabhacharya? So Acharya Charan, why he has used this sur asur? Let's discuss that. So sur means nishkam, that is devoid of fruitive action result. The people who don't expect anything from the Lord, they want only to serve the Lord. So others who serve the Lord, but still they have some material desires, that although you have such a great goal, but yet you have material desires, that is why they are denoted as asura or demon.
और सुरासुर पूजित स्मरपितु हो, और स्मरपितु स्मर के पिता, तो
And the father of Smar, Smar means Kamdev or the god of love. But here Smar means to remember. So Smar, who is the father of Smaran? You need to go to the Bhagvatam and take reference. So Parikshitji asked that who is there to be remembered in this world? And Shukdev Maharaj answers, the person who should be remembered is Smarpitu, that is Lord Krishna. He is all magnificent and the crest jewel. So I pray at the lotus feet of such Yamuna Maharani, who stays in the heart of the Lord. So let's discuss how Yamuna ji is mentioned in Shrimad Bhagavatam by Shukdev Maharaj after a small break, and some details of the for the program. Thanks.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So, बहुत ही सुंदर आज की इस कथा के अंतर्गत हम प्रभु जी के मुखारविंद से श्रवण कर रहे हैं। यमुनाष्टकम का जो प्रथम श्लोक श्रील वल्लभाचार्य ने जो गाया और उसके ऊपर प्रभु जी ने जो व्याख्यान प्रस्तुत किया आचार्यों की टीकाओं के माध्यम से, बहुत ही आनंददायक है। और किस प्रकार हमने आज सर्वप्रथम कथा के अंतर्गत ये स्मरण किया कि श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु जब राय रामानंद से संवाद कर रहे थे तो उन्होंने कहा कि जो वास्तव में सबसे बड़ा दुख है वो क्या है। एंड देन श्री राय रामानंद एक्सप्लेन कि कृष्ण भक्ति का विरह होना वही जीवन का सबसे बड़ा दुख है। एंड देन प्रभु जी ने हमारे श्री रति रामगर जी को बहुत ही सुंदर भावपूर्ण श्रद्धांजलि दी। तो साथ ही साथ जो श्री वल्लभाचार्य द्वारा जो श्लोक प्रथम श्लोक हमने श्रवण किया, उसमें बहुत ही सुंदर वर्णन आया कि किस प्रकार जो व्यक्ति श्री यमुना महारानी को प्रणाम करता है वो आठों सिद्धि उनके चरण में आ जाती है, या फिर he gains all this. तो one of them was wonderful, like प्रभु जी ने आठों सिद्धि का वर्णन किया। तो उनमें से एक था कि सद्भाव, यानी जो कृष्ण भक्त है, जो कृष्ण भक्ति करता है, उनके अंदर जो सबसे बड़ा गुण प्रकट हो जाता है यमुना महारानी की कृपा से, दैट इज कि वो सभी भक्तों के अंदर, बुरे से व्यक्ति के अंदर एक सद्गुण को खोज लेता है। एंड इस गुण को स्मरण करते हुए एक सुंदर पास्ट टाइम से स्मरण आ गया कि श्रील श्याम सुंदर प्रभु, जो कि श्रील प्रभुपाद के प्राय प्रथम शिष्यों में से एक थे, और कुछ समय पूर्व मतलब when back in प्रभुपाद जब अमेरिका में कृष्ण भावनामृत का प्रचार कर रहे थे, तो श्याम सुंदर प्रभु बता रहे थे इस बात को कि किस प्रकार श्री प्रभुपाद एक दिव्य आत्मा है, वो बुरे से बुरे व्यक्ति में के अंदर भी सद्गुण को खोजते रहते हैं। तो उनका वर्णन करते हैं। तो ऐसा बताते थे कि श्याम सुंदर प्रभु he went to prison for some of the crime. तो he came to श्रील प्रभुपाद कि प्रभुपाद, मैंने ये गलती की है हमारे भक्ति में आने से पूर्व, और now I have to go to jail. तो he was very afraid कि प्रभुपाद क्या उत्तर देंगे, किस प्रकार वो रिएक्ट करेंगे। He was very feeling guilty. And then Prabhupada happily said that don't worry, ये हमारे कर्म की सजा है, उसे भुगत कर तुम पुनः वापिस आकर कृष्ण भक्ति में लग जाना या अपनी सेवा को संभालना है। तो श्याम सुंदर प्रभु बताते थे कि प्रभुपाद ने ये इतना अद्भुत गुण उनके अंदर देखा और इतनी सौम्यता के साथ में उन्होंने रिप्लाई किया कि प्रभुपाद की उस सरलता के साथ में ये जो गुण उन्होंने देखा उससे प्रभावित होकर he was very happy। और श्लोक जो आता है ना, दोषान परेशान विगुणांति साधवो, जो 6 प्रकार के व्यक्ति होते हैं अलग अलग। कोई व्यक्ति ऐसा होता है कि जो किसी में कोई सद्गुण नहीं देता है या स्वयं को ही गुणवान समझता है। तो जो उच्च व्यक्ति है, जो वो क्या होता है, उनका कैरेक्टर कैसा होता है कि वो बुरे से बुरे व्यक्ति के अंदर भी सद्गुण को खोजता है। तो जैसे कि प्रभु जी ने यहाँ पर वर्णन किया कि श्रील प्रभुपाद, उससे मुझे स्मरण है, सो आई जस्ट रिवील दैट एंड सो ऑन। यहाँ पर जो यमुना महारानी की महिमा है प्रभु जी ने बड़ी अद्भुत बताई। तो आज बहुत ही सुंदर माधव तिथि है, एकादशी का दिन है, इसी के अंतर्गत आज हम कुछ गौ माता के दर्शन करेंगे गौशाला में, और उसके पश्चात हम पुनः शेष कथा को प्रभु जी के मुखारविंद से श्रवण करेंगे। Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, Sita Leela Ekadasi, as I was mentioning yesterday, that आज सीता लीला एकादशी है, सात तिला एकादशी, और इस एकादशी के दिन तिल को ग्रहण करने का या फिर तिल का दान करने का बहुत ही अधिक महत्व है। तो आज बहुत ही सुंदर दिन है। इस एकादशी के दिन आप सभी भक्तों से हम निवेदन करें कि आप सब भी एकादशी का पालन करें और पालन करते हुए अधिक से अधिक भगवान नाम जप करें, भगवत भक्तों के संपर्क में रहें, हरि कथा को श्रवण करें, जो कि हम कर ही रहे हैं, और साथ ही साथ गौ सेवा करें, ताकि जिससे कि हम गौ माता की कृपा को प्राप्त कर सके और भी भगवान की कृपा से हम उनको प्राप्त कर सकें। सो थैंक यू वेरी मच। और yes, आप if you want to be a part of our Shri Radha Govind Goswami and contribute over there, you can contact us on our details, which is here in the screen. So यहाँ पर हमें अप्रोच कर सकते हो on 756-754-5555, and then you can email us also at sevaperfect@gmail.com or www.perfectseva.com, where you can visit and look after all the activities which is going on in our Shri Radha Govind Goswami. तो श्री भक्तों से निवेदन है कि इस एकादशी के दिन, माधवती तिथि के दिन, इस गौ सेवा का लाभ अवश्य लें। और चलिए श्रवण करते हैं हम आज की इस शेष कथा को प्रभु जी के मुखारविंद से। हरे कृष्ण।
नद्य प्रसन्ना सलिला हृदा जलरूह श्रियः द्विजाली कुल सन्नाद स्तवका वनराजय स्तवका वनराजय। श्रीमद् भागवत जी में जहां जहां यमुना महारानी का जिक्र हुआ है,
In Shrimad Bhagavatam, there are beautiful pastimes where Yamuna Maharani is remembered or discussed. In the 10th canto of the Shrimad Bhagavatam, at the time of the birth of Lord Shri Krishna, so Yamuna Maharani is already on this material world, and at the time of the birth of the Lord, there was a change in nature. So usually what happens is that when a leader or a king is to come, so they do special arrangements, and they try to purify the place externally. But when Krishna was born on this material world, the nature was changed. So there were all positive signs when the Lord manifested on this in this material world. So what were the changes that happened? So when the time itself realized that our Lord Krishna is to come, So even the time decorated itself with all the qualities. So when we go to an astrologer, we get to know that we have been born in an inauspicious time, and there's so many things that are being told. But when the Lord is to manifest, even the nature made it beautiful according to the magnificence of the Lord. Everything became perfect, and all the directions became purified, and there was happiness all around. The stars were shining. The villages and the towns and cities were filled with gems and precious stones. So the gold and jewels manifested. The water of the river was pure and filled with lotuses. So because of the sins and offenses of the King Kansa, the rivers were dried up. But when Krishna was to manifest, the rivers became overflowing with clean water, and the trees started bearing beautiful fruits. The birds were in a cheerful mood, and the air itself became scented with aromas of flowers and fruits. And the sages were in blissful mood. They were ecstatic. So because of Kansa's violence, the sages were forced to leave their yajna sacrifices. But when Krishna was about to manifest, the fire sacrifice began again on its own. And not only this, even the higher planetary systems like Swarga were surrounded with the divine beings dancing and singing with all the musical instruments, and they were all waiting for the manifestation of the Lord. And there was a sweet, melodious rain. So at the time when Krishna was about to manifest, so all these changes were happening in the nature. So although this is all mentioned in the verses, but what was the change in Yamuna ji? Let's focus on that. So now that we've decided that we will be listening about Yamuna Maharani, so she's the focus. So there is one verse where it is mentioned what were the changes in Yamuna ji at the time of Krishna's manifestation, present in front of your screen.
Prasanna salila Rida jala ruha shriya Dvijali kula sannada Satvaka vanrajaya Nadya prasanna salila. नद्य माने यमुना नदी. ये जो नद्य
mentioned that Nadya here signifies the river, and in Mathura there is only one river, that is Yamuna ji. So Srimad Bhagavatam mentioned in the 10th canto, 3rd chapter, Shukdev Goswami ji mentions about Yamuna ji that Yamuna ji was ecstatic and happy because she was aware that Krishna is going to manifest. And suddenly he was overflowing with water as there are waves in the sea. Similarly, the Yamuna ji had waves, high tides in Yamuna ji. It had tides like the sea, and it was overflowing, about to flood. So Harishuri ji, who is in the disciplic succession of Vallabhacharya ji, by the mercy of our Guru Maharaj, we have been able to understand Harishuri ji's interpretations, although it's very tough to understand him. So try to understand. So if you are not able to understand, then you can listen it twice or thrice. He describes beautifully. He says that when Krishna was about to manifest, so there was overflowing of water. So he is interpreting the Bhagavatam verse here in this verse. He said that why Yamuna ji was so overwhelmed with emotion and happiness. So Yamuna ji answers through Harishuri ji.
सूर्यात्म तेज तितराम मुह मुद हंती स आनंद बाष्प हरि भी भूरदाया। बहुत सुंदर कहते हैं कि इस संसार में बड़े बड़े सत मानस है, माने बड़े बड़े साधु संत महात्मा,
Says that they're quite highly elevated devotees, and the only desire for them is to get the lotus feet of the Lord. They don't go to a restaurant or they don't play cricket. So the only vocation they have is to get the lotus feet of the Lord, and for that they work hard. And usually they get the lotus feet of the Lord, and then they sit at the lotus feet of the Lord. The highest elevated devotees of the Lord sit at the lotus feet of the Lord. And that is the reason that the Acharya of the founder Acharya is Prabhupada. So Pad means the feet. Because he is sitting at the lotus feet of the Lord, that is why he is called Prabhupada. Although his name is Das, but still he's mentioned, named as Prabhupada because he's sitting at the lotus feet of the Lord. As Bhakti Siddhanta Swami is mentioned as Vishnupad. So the highly elevated devotees reside at the lotus feet of the Lord. So when Krishna is to manifest, then why Yamuna ji is so much elated and happy? So Yamuna ji is thinking that the highly elevated devotees, saints, sages, they work hard day and night to receive the mercy of to sit at the lotus feet of the Lord. But today his lotus feet are coming to me. So, so the whole world wants to have the mercy of the lotus feet of the Lord. And now Krishna is coming, to meet her. And that is why she's so much overwhelmed with emotions that she's crying vehemently. And that is the reason she is overflowing with so much water. And she has a high tide at the time of manifestation of Krishna. So, so there are three reasons. So the second reason Harishwariji mentions is he says that why Yamuna Maharani is uncontrolled at the time of Krishna's manifestation.
બેય કાંઠે જમના આવી છલકાણા બેય કાંઠે જમના આવી છલકાણા વાસુદેવ એવા મનમાં મૂંઝાણા વસુદેવ એવા મનમાં મૂંઝાણા યમુનાજી માં કેડિયું પાડે મારો કાન શ્યામ આવીને મારી મટકી ફોડે યમુનાજી માં કેડિયું પાડે મારો કાન શ્યામ આવીને મારી મટકી ફોડે ઘમર ઘમર મારું વલોણું ગાજે શ્યામ આવીને મારી મટકી ફોડે आज यमुना अनकंट्रोल हो गई यमुना हद से
today Yamuna ji is uncontrolled, overwhelmed with emotion. And Harishwariji says such a beautiful interpretation which is far away from our reach. So Yamunaji thought that in future I am to marry the Lord. So when is getting married, the background is checked. So when they see that she is the sister of the god of death, that is Yamraj. So you think that she also might have some quality of Raji. So Yam means control, to control. So Yamraj control and he punishes the offenders. So in future I want to marry, and when they want to check my background, then they will think that, oh, she's a sister of Yamraj. So so Vasudevji will think that, oh, she is going to control my son. So no, we don't want to get our son married to her. So we're thinking that Yamunaji thought that my brother controls, and they might not think that I will also control. So she became uncontrolled. What a beautiful mellow describe. That I am not like my brother. I don't control. I'm myself uncontrolled. So I will not control Krishna. So thinking that Yamuna ji is overwhelmed and overflowing with water. And the third reason Harishuri ji mentions, so we are discussing about that why at the time of the manifestation of Krishna, Yamuna Maharani ji was overwhelmed. So we have so far heard two reasons for the same. That she doesn't has a nature like her brother. The first is that she has tears in her eyes and it's overflowing. And the third reason is that she's remembering the Treta Yuga, Ramayana. She's thinking about the Treta Yuga, that he is Ram of Treta Yuga. And you all are aware of the Ram Leela. When Sita ji was abducted by Ravana, and he was searching for the for Sita Rani. So Hanumanji crossed the sea and met Sita ji and gave him Ramji the news. And then they came at the bank, at the shores of the sea, and there they fasted, as we are going to do tomorrow for Ekadashi. Lakshmanji said in Gujarati that we are Kshatriyas, it's not befitting for us to fast. But Ramji is a Maryada Purushottam. He said that we will get everything without violence and peacefully. We will fast. The Lakshmanji was insisting that we should go on a war with the sea. Lakshmanji was not satisfied because for such a small thing, my brother is fasting and get in so much trouble. And Ramji is fasting and asking for the path from the sea. So in Ramayan, it's mentioned in 2-3 verses. Let me show you in front of your screen. So Ramji did Nirjala fasting without water for 3 days. So when somebody is without food and water for 3 days, imagine how much frustrated he will be. Because when we do Ekadashi, we are eating fruits, etc. But yet people don't want to come near us. We will be angry or frustrated. But after 3 days, Ramji said with anger, he said, filled with anger. And what he said, I wanted to get the path with love, but now I understood that without fear there cannot be love. And then he said to Lakshmanji,
સરાસનયાનો લક્ષ્મણ બાણ સરાસનયાનો શોષોબારી બિસીખ કુસાનો ક્યું સઠ સન બિનય કુટિલ સન પ્રીતિ સહજ કૃપન સન सुंदरनी। मुझे राम जी का क्रोध भी बहुत पसंद है। राम जी ने
I like even the anger of Ram ji. He said to Lakshman ji that, but What you said was right. Just go and fetch my bow and arrows. Lakshmanji said, I already told you that we should fight, but you were insisting that we should go on a peaceful way. But even in anger, Ramji is talking such a beautiful philosophy. It is an example for us to learn. Listen,
मेरा बाण लेकर आओ, मैं मेरे एक बाण से समुद्र को सुखा दूंगा. ठीक है,
with my one arrow, I will dry up the whole sea. So, now what is the philosophy? It is very useful to live our life successfully. What is Ramji saying? He says that humility is useless in front of Sat. This is the first.
कुटिल स्वभाव का है, जो कुलटा है या कुटिल है, उसके साथ प्रेम करोगे, फैल जाओगे.
And if you love someone who is
कुटिलों के साथ प्रीति नहीं होनी चाहिए, और सहज कृपण सन सुंदर नीति. और जो कृपण जो है ना, जो कृपण,
so he says that who is greedy or a person who is like a fox, with them we cannot deal with love, and with greedy we cannot be benevolent. Further he adds that person who is filled with attachment to the world, you cannot share knowledge with them because they won't be able to understand. The example is Maharaj Chitraketu was attached. Angiraji came to give knowledge, but Chitraketu was so much overwhelmed with attachment that he couldn't take the knowledge. And Chitraketu asked for a son. So a person who is too much attached or engrossed in this material world, the sharing knowledge is useless with them. And to talk about a person who gets angry easily, they cannot focus on the solution. So it's useless to give them a solution. And a person who is filled with carnal material desires, in front of them, if we do Bhagvat Katha, it's total failure. So what will happen? If we put a seed in the concrete, then it will never grow into a plant. In this manner, Ramji says. And then he
अस कही रघुपति चाप चढ़ावा, यह मत लक्ष्मण के मन भावा, यह मत लक्ष्मण के मन भावा। इस प्रकार कह के भगवान रामचंद्र ने अपने सारंग पर अमोघ बाण चढ़ा लिया। लक्ष्मण को बड़ा
राम जी
बोले बस यही करना था, बस प्रॉब्लम ये है कि 3 दिन लेट किया
had to,
श्लोक में लिखा है कि यह
to arrange his bow
मन भावा,
and arrow, and Lakshmanji became elated and happy.
तो खैर ये तो बहुत सारे श्लोक है, मैं आपको संक्षिप्त में इतना कहना, हम तो यमुना में फंसे हैं ना, यमुना की बात है, यमुना में बाढ़ क्यों आई, कृष्ण जन्म।
So we're discussing why Yamuna ji is overwhelmed at the time of Krishna's manifestation.
केवल प्रत्यंचा खींचने में समुद्र खोलने लगा।
So when
केवल
Ramji was about
समुद्र खोलने लगा,
to
जलचर जीव आकुल व्याकुल होने लगे।
arrange his bow and arrow, the sea became extremely hot,
ब्राह्मण का रूप धारण कर
and the sea came in the form of a beautiful Brahmana with so many
चरणों में गिरे तो राम जी को दया आई,
ornaments, etc.
वो बाण किसी अलग जगह पर
And as Ram is filled with ocean of mercy,
पहले आया होता, बोले हमसे
so
माफ कर दीजिए, गलती हो गई। राम जी ने कहा कि हमको
he
रास्ता दे दो,
became happy,
हमें लंका जाना है।
and he said that I want a path to go to Lanka.
वो प्रकृति का नियम आपने बनाया है,
So he said
आप
that
कहोगे तो मैं
you
तोड़कर मार्ग दे,
made this
लेकिन अच्छा ये होगा
law of nature.
कि आपकी सेना में
If you say I or insist, I can do that, but
बड़े
it
बड़े
is better
पत्थर उनको लाकर दो, आपका
that
नाम लिखेंगे, समुद्र में डालेंगे, वो पत्थर तैरेंगे, आपका प्रताप है। इससे
that
वो चीज होगी प्रभु, आपका सिद्धांत,
you
प्रकृति का जो सिद्धांत है वो भी बच
you
जाएगा।
can make a bridge with stones, just writing the name, your name, because your name is all powerful.
हो जाएगा।
So in this way, two things will be manifest, will happen. First, the law of nature won't be broken,
लेकिन विनंती
and
इतनी है दास की,
your name will be engraved forever.
समुद्र देवता का प्रस्ताव राम जी को अच्छा लगा,
And Ramji liked the proposal.
लक्ष्मण जी को हो रहा था कि प्रभु ये सब छोड़ो, ये सब मजदूरी मजदूरी करना और मेहनत करवाना, अभी भी वो बाण दूसरा चढ़ा,
Lakshmanji was not happy, said that why we need to work so hard.
इस प्रकार से
And but Ramji agreed,
क्या हुआ,
and then everybody made the
सारे
bridge.
वानर, बड़े
All
पर्वत, अब ये था समुद्र, समुद्र के तट पर तो पर्वत नहीं होते ना, पर्वत समुद्र के तट पर नहीं होते,
so sea
हिमालय आदि
never has
और ये श्रीरंगम, ये
mountains.
रामेश्वरम, तो
This
हिमालय
place is near Rameshwaram. So they started to bring huge stones from Himalayas, and they started writing Ram's name, and the bridge was prepared. So here, what Yamuna ji was thinking, that a river, the starting point of a river is, where does the river manifest from? If I ask you, so the river starts from the mountain. So Yamuna ji was manifested from Yamunotri, that is Kalind Parvat, that is on the foothills of Himalayas. So from where Yamuna ji has came flowing down. So the starting point of the river is a mountain. So what does it mean? So it means that the ancestral home of the river is the mountain. So who is the father of a river is the mountain. And whom does the river marries? To the sea. She is born in the mountains and she travels through the country and then she meets the sea, her husband. So the mountain is her ancestral home and sea is his husband's home. So in material world, women can go to their parents' home whenever they wish. But the river once starts from her father's home, she never goes back to her father's home. Once she meets her husband, the sea, she can never go back. So this is the distress of her life. So what she's thinking that last time what Ramji did was so what Ramji did was he bought the ancestral stones ancestral home and bought stones from there and he made the meet my husband's home. So he is the greatest of the all. That is why she was elated and very happy. That is why she was overwhelmed with emotion. So Vasudev ji was carrying Krishna in his hands and he reached the banks of Yamuna ji. And Yamuna ji was so much overwhelmed and had such a high tide. So Harishuri ji said, so the reason for that is Harishuri ji mentions
क्या सुंदर भाव है यमुना देवी सोचती है कि ये जो
so Yamuna ji thinks that this Krishna, his father is Vasudev and Vasudev ji's father is Shursen. And that is why Krishna is also called Shauri because he is the grandson of Shursen ji. And Shauri's other meaning is Shurvir or Braveheart.
वसुदेव जी
So
भी
Yamuna was thinking that both are Shurvir because they're sons of Shurisen and they're coming to me. In her mind, it's about her marriage with Krishna. So at the time of marriage, the astrologer checks the horoscopes of the boy and the girl and they should match. So she was thinking that Krishna and Vasudeva both are Shurvir. So let me show them my bravery and courage. And that is why she had huge waves which were touching the sky. So this is the interpretation our acharyas have mentioned, that why Yamuna ji is so overwhelmed and why she is so much elated. Further he adds,
हरीश्वरी जी बढ़िया काम करते हैं. यमुना महारानी सोची कि तरंगे क्यों उठ रही हैं, तो यमुना जी सोचती हैं कि गोपालन एव सनातनो सो ब्रजम प्रयातो अवलोकस्य साकिम. ये कृष्ण जो है
she says that
ब्रज में क्यों जा रहे हैं, तो कहते हैं
Krishna is going to Vraja from Mathura to take care of the cows.
गो पालन करने के लिए, गायों का पालन करने के लिए. तो यमुना महारानी अपने नदी में लहरें उठाकर, संस्कृत में नदी में जो लहर होती है ना उसे भी गो कहते हैं.
So in Sanskrit,
गाय माता को भी गो कहते हैं.
the waves are also called go.
उसे भी गो कहते हैं.
Even cows are called go.
यमुना महारानी
The waves are also called go.
मैसेज देना चाहती हैं.
So she's giving message to Krishna that you're going to Gokul to take care of the cows. So even I have go. So you take care of me as well.
शादी ब्याह की चर्चा हो रही है, आप मेरा भी पालन कर लीजिए. वहाँ गायों का पालन करोगे, गो का पालन करने जा रहे हो.
So her mind is filled
बहुत सारी तरंगे हैं, उस तरंगों को भी गो कहते हैं, आप हमारा भी पालन.
in desire to marry him.
इस प्रकार से यमुना तो आज यमुना हो चुकी है, बिल्कुल नटखट होकर बढ़ रही है.
So today Yamuna ji is in a flirtatious mood,
बड़े शूरवीर थे, बोले यमुना
and
को बहना उतना बहे,
Vasudev ji is a shurveer,
यमुना को पार करूंगा.
and he was persistent that I will cross Yamuna ji.
ने सोचा कि मैं कृष्ण को लेकर जाऊंगा, और यदि यमुना का पानी बहुत बढ़ गया तो मैं कृष्ण को अपने हाथ
He
में
says that
उतारूंगा. ऐसे
if the water of Yamuna raises too much, then I will raise Krishna above my head.
किसी ने नहीं देखा है तो बहुत अच्छा है, देख लीजिएगा. ऐसे 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 करके ऐसे उठाया, मैं ऐसे लेके जाऊंगा. वसुदेव जी सोचे मैं भले डूब जाऊंगा लेकिन कृष्ण.
So even if I will drown, but I will save Krishna. He was an optimist and he entered the Yamuna river. And as soon as he entered Yamuna ji, in the middle of Yamuna ji, Lord Shri Krishna's feet touched Yamuna ji. And as soon as Yamuna ji was touched by Krishna's feet, Yamuna ji was divided into two parts and a huge passage was created like mountain. It was divided and gave the passage. So what is the reason why she did that? So first is that because she was touched by Krishna's feet and she divided. So the other interpretation is why. So the desire to marry Krishna is still there. And Yamunaji is thinking that in future, I am to marry Krishna in future. And then Balramji will do Ras Leela on my banks.
विवाह करना है. और उस समय कृष्ण ऐसा सोचेंगे कि भाई
At that time, Krishna will think that she has done Ras Leela with Balramji, then why should how could I marry her? So she's showing that I'm dividing two parts. And one part is for Balramji, the second part is for Krishna. And in this manner, Krishna will accept me as his wife. And the third reason is that she became extremely calm after getting divided. So she was thinking that if my father goes with the proposal to marry Krishna, then Vasudevji will think that she is very naughty and flirtatious and she is mad. So that is the reason she became peaceful and calm. So when a girl is to be married, she might be very naughty, but when she's to meet her spouse, she becomes extremely nurtured and well mannered.
सो इस प्रकार से सांकड़ी शेरी में मारा ससराजी मळ्या सांकड़ी शेरी में ससराजी मिला ससुर जी आए हैं इसलिए आज यमुना ससुर जी के सामने शांत
As her father-in-law is there, so she became calm and well mannered. Then there is another interpretation. Yamuna ji was thinking that it's better to give the path because in Treta Yuga and he tied the Chandravanshi sea. So now he is born in Somvansh. He might not tie me because I'm from Suryavansh and she's the daughter of sun. That is the reason she gave the way. And the last interpretation is Yamuna Maharani gave path to Krishna that he is the father of my friend. So Yamuna ji's Sakhi is Ganga. And Ganga ji manifested from the lotus feet of the Lord. So she is my friend and I should welcome him. So this is a beautiful pastime at the time of birth of Krishna or manifestation of Krishna. Usually we don't discuss this in detail, but now we got this opportunity. So this is about the first day of the Lord. After when he is 5 years old, that time the beautiful verses that Krishna speaks, and then we will discuss how Yamuna ji manifested twice, and we will make our life better. You listen with so much patience. Thank you so much for listening patiently. And I thank the organizers. That this family has organized such a beautiful katha in the reverie of their ancestors. And Pratik Bhai, Darshana Mataji, Jayashri Mataji, Amrish Bhai, Mata, Kulin Prabhu. Kulin Prabhu, Mohini Mataji, and Kamlesh Bhai. Thank you so much. And please keep listening to the katha and make your lives better. So let's end the session with Jai Jaikar. Little announcement. After that, we'll have some question answers. And then we will have the Bhagavatam Aarti.